Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to show you how I color my zombie fish. I have already done these two, so I've saved this one for last. Now I want to say it is easy. I'd like to say it's easy, but I didn't find it easy, and this is the first time I am actually coloring a zombie fish. I've done a regular zombie but not a zombie fish. But normally when I am encountering something for the first time and I need an idea of what it looks like, I would usually Google an image of it, and after that my mind will put something together, and this is exactly what I came up with. Alright, so let's get into it. Let me not keep you any longer. Alright, so normally what I do when I am coloring this fish, I try and start out with the lightest shade. Now I am using Prismacolor for this illustration, and for the fish I decided to color the skin gray. So I tried to find 3 shades of gray: a light color, a medium color, and then the darkest gray in that shade. Now I'm using cool gray for the fish, and I have 20% cool gray. Are you seeing that? 20% cool gray. I have 50% cool gray, and I'm supposed to have 70% cool gray, but sorry, pencils are all over the place, and I have 70% cool gray. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the lightest shade first, and I do that primarily because I have not decided where exactly I want to put the darker gray. So let us start with the light gray. Alright, so I'm gonna color the rest of the fish with the light gray off camera, and I'll get back to you once I've covered the entire fish. I have finished coloring the fish skin in light gray. Sorry, not light gray, 20% cool gray. Well, I guess because it's so pale, you know, I automatically said light gray, but anyway, so of course it's 20% gray. And remember, all the pencils I'm using are Prismacolor pencils. Alright, so once I've done this, right, I am gonna start shading the areas I think should have some sort of shadow. And rather than go to the darkest shade, I'm gonna go with 50% cool gray. And I do it this way in stages, so that if it is that I make an error, it is not hard for me to erase and correct. Alright, so I believe here should have a shadow, and I'm just guessing, by the way, right? So I believe here should have some form of shadow, and I try to put shadows in areas I think the shadows should be, so that the illustration does not look flat, meaning it does not look two-dimensional. You want it to have a three-dimensional feel. Alright, and I like to put shadows on the outskirt here to give it some sort of dimension or definition. Same thing, definition, dimension. Yeah. And I'm gonna continue here on the outskirts. And I'm gonna do the same thing here Right, everything that I'm doing is really trial and error. Do the same thing here, and I'm gonna go in darker after this, of course. So I do the same thing here, and I usually use my lines as a guide. Yeah, and I'm gonna put a little shadow in here as well, right under here. This looks like a jaw, like it could be the left jaw of the fish. Right, there's a little shadow here just to give it some definition. Shadow here as well, going around with it. Put a little shadow here, and I'm gonna put a little shadow here as well, right on the edge. The same thing here. Right, I'm assuming that light is gonna fall here, so I'm not gonna take the shadow that far up. Then I'm gonna put a little shadow here, and anywhere I see this is the scaling, I'm gonna put some shading there. It's like a form of hatching for me when I see that. Right, then put a little shadow here as well. Right, because this is a fin, and I'm assuming that it's blocking some light. Put a little shadow here, and you can put shadow here as well. Right, put shadow here, and you can put a shadow here too. And where else do I want to? I want to put shadow here. Right, this is a lip, so just assume that there's some sort of overhang that's creating a shadow. And we can put a shadow under here. Oh, the pencil wasn't sharpened properly. And don't follow me, you should ensure that your point is sharp. I don't know, sometimes I get lazy when it comes down to sharpening the pencil. Alright, so this is really going to act as a guide, and let's put a little shadow in here. Just a little, no whole heap, really. Just a little. Right? I'm just trying to make some sense of this. And what we can do now, we can go ahead and just add some shading here. Yeah. And when it comes onto this section, you can decide where you want to put the lights or the lighter areas. So I tend to put the lighter areas at the top here. I assume that the top would be exposed to light more than the lower parts of the fish, like the areas that I'm coloring now, right? At this point, don't follow me, you're really supposed to sharpen your pencil and ensure the point is sharp so that the color doesn't go in areas you don't want it to go. Alright. Alright, so this is where we are with this. Let's see now. So right here can be a little tricky. Here you're just gonna have to guess, because that's what I've been doing, guessing. Alright. And alright, so you can just color this area here. area. I'm going to do the same thing here, just color here. Right. And then we can color the fin. So I'm expecting the fin to be darker on the interior, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and color this all the way, all of this. Okay. Oh boy, I should be working with a sharper point, but more laziness. Alright, so that's where we are with this fish. Hold on, I think. Hold on. I think I want to get, yeah. I'm going to leave some highlights here for the lip as well. Alright. And what is it? Yeah, so hold on. So anywhere I see lines normally I just try and put some color there. If I see lines like this, I'll put some color right here. Oh, and then this now I didn't color this, because eventually we're gonna get the skin to look like this, but we have to build up the color first. And that's basically what we're doing, just doing it in stages. I'm no expert, so I have to do it in stages. Alright. Alright, so this is the gum, so we're not going to do that just yet. Okay. So this is what our fish looks like after applying the 50% cool gray. Alright, so after the 50% cool gray, we're gonna go for the 70% cool gray. Is this it? So yeah, so we have 70% cool gray here. I'm gonna sharpen this. I'm gonna do that off camera. Alright, so I sharpened the 70% cool gray, and we're gonna go back over the areas that we colored with the 50%. Alright, so we're gonna make this area a little darker. Right. Now we're assuming that the shadow is falling on this side here. Here. Oops. Alright, so we're just going to go back over the areas that we colored with the 50% gray, right? But of course I'm gonna make this top part darker because it's further from the light, yeah, because we're assuming that there's some light from down below, and we're assuming that there's light from above. Not certain where the light from down below is coming from, but anyway, we're doing it this way because we want the fish to look three-dimensional, right? Want to put shading here as well, just to get a three-dimensional feel. Not too heavy. Yeah, but of course I'm gonna do it to your liking. That's what I'm doing it to my liking. And don't be too heavy-handed with the pencil. Because you want that if you need to make any corrections, you can easily do so with the eraser. So let me just, so going back over those areas, and I'll color with the 50%. And really how you decide to color your fish, it's subjective, but you want to ensure that you have some light and dark areas just so that you have a three-dimensional feel. Understood? Because you won't know exactly where the light falls. You just want to ensure that it looks almost realistic. Alright, so we're gonna make this a little darker. Alright, so I'm making this fin a little darker. Good. I'm going to make this area a little darker. Alright. And just remember not to be too heavy-handed, right? Because we have already determined our light and dark areas. I'm going to come back here and leave the tip of the fin light. Right? You might want to color there. And then, so we're gonna go back over those areas. Yeah. Remember now that where we see the lines, we make those areas dark. So we're doing. And we'll come back here now. Alright, okay. Alright, so this is where it's a little tricky. Alright, so oh boy, oh boy. So it's getting a little tricky. Just a little tricky. Alright, and let me go here. And yeah, so coloring everywhere. If anything, when you're finished and you want to lighten certain areas, you can go over that with an eraser. Alright, so I made a boo-boo. I colored over the line, so I'm looking for my eraser so I can just remove that mistake. Alright, so I have one of these erasers that I sharpen, and I try to get it to a point as much as I possibly can so I can easily go in and just do these little corrections. It's not gonna be perfect, but yeah. Alright, so the next thing we want to do now, we want to do the lips. Now, usually, because of how I want to do the lip, I need to ensure the point is sharp. So let me just sharpen this. Oopsie, this is too sharp, but anyway. Let's get in there. Alright, so this side, we're going to assume that this side is not getting much light. Yeah? So we'll do all of that dark, and then we reach this side now. Just see, alright, the top of the lip getting light. So let's just try and focus on the bottom. I have to position myself so that I can get it the way I want to. Alright. So just take your time all through. Ensure that there is nothing obstructing your hand. Where's my brush? Oh, not there. Put the brush back in the package. Alright, so this is where we are. I want to do the same thing with the lower lip. Alright, I see where I made that little boo-boo, but we can always correct that with the eraser. Alright, so here we go. Let's go in. So already establish our areas of light and dark. So we're just going in now and just darkening those areas. Alright, so we're almost there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna go back in, but this time I'm gonna go in with the 50% gray, right, for the areas that aren't fully covered. Right, so going back in now and just trying to get full coverage now. Right. And basically you're doing a form of blending, right? Because you don't want to have any sharp differences in the colors. Or rather in the light and dark areas. You don't want to have any sharp differences in the light and dark area. So you're gonna go in and just color over it lightly, not too heavy. Just try and use a light hand, right? And of course, just trying to do a form of blending. Oh, this really should have been dark. So anywhere I have these lines, I usually try and ensure that, you know, the area is dark. Then this. Forget it right here, so I need to be a little darker. Alright. Alright. Color here. Oh, this now is supposed to be. Forgot about this. Sometimes that happens. Right? Alright. Now let's just put a little shade in here, not too heavy. Alright, put a little shade in here. Alright, good. And probably right here, a little bit too much white. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go back in with the 20% gray, and we're gonna cover the areas that are supposed to be light. And we're still doing a form of blending so that you don't have this sharp difference in light and dark areas. Alright, so we're just really blending everything in now. Alright, so we're still maintaining our light areas, but it's just that we're trying to make the transitions a lot smoother. So it does not appear streaky. Alright, so same with this. And then now you go over here, this. Right, same here. Please don't follow me with a dull pencil point. This really ought to be sharp. Alright, this, alright, here, these light and dark areas, the same here, same here. Alright, so fish looking. Look like we're getting somewhere with the fish. Alright, now what you will notice, alright, so we basically establish our light and dark areas. But what you'll notice is that this fish is not as dark as this one. So our final step is to incorporate black. So I use black a lot. Oh no, this is my very thin pencil. Didn't realize that, sorry. Alright, so we're gonna use black. And we use the black now to create depth. And yeah, that's it. Using the black to create some depth. So we're gonna go in the areas that we think should be darkest. And we're gonna start here. Start here. And try not to be too heavy-handed because you still want to pick up the texture that should be there, right? So remember, these areas are supposed to be dark. Right? If it gets too dark, don't worry about it. We can just go back over it with 50% just to lighten it. So we're just going over those areas that are really supposed to be dark. This is how I do it. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but you know, this is the best way for me. So another thing too, when you put the black over the grays, it actually reduces the intensity of the black. Alright, so now we're going to put a little shadow here. Right? We're going to put a little shadow here. And if you want, just put a little shadow there. I'll put a little shadow here as well. I'll go back in and just blend that in with a 50%. And same thing, I'll put a little shadow here. Right here, so. So the shadow here. Remember not to be too heavy-handed. Alright, come back here with it. Alright, so almost look like that. So we'll go back in. Alright. Try not to be too heavy-handed. Time I'm going. So we can either go in with the 50 or the 70 just to do some more blending, because as you can see, you know, it's looking a little bit streaky, right? So and we're just trying to create some depth. That's all, to give it a more three-dimensional feel. Alright. And this is fine as is. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna go back for my, this is my 70%, and let us try and just do some blending. Let me just sharpen this point. Oh, and this is a Prismacolor sharpener, by the way, and it has 2 holes. So you can get 2 different size points, and it's a good sharpener. And I prefer to use a Prismacolor sharpener for my Prismacolor pencils. Alright, so we're just going to go back over this thing. Which color is this? The correct color? Oh, this is warm gray. Oh boy. That was warm gray. So it should be 70% cool gray. So we're going back over the black. Yeah, it seems like a lot. Oh my god. Oh boy. Yeah, so we're going back over now. It's black, and what we're doing is blending in the black to reduce the intensity of the black. Right, so we're not using a heavy hand here, so we're trying to keep the thing light. Alright, just try and alright, here we go. Yeah. Not looking too bad. Now to blend this thing in. Here we go again. I want to blend in here. I don't want it looking too drastic. Alright. I'm just blending in right here. Alright. I'm gonna put a little shade in here. Alright. I'm gonna put a little shade in right here. Alright. There we go. And then here. Alright, then we can go in. I'm just doing this because I just feel we need to do a little blend in here. Just give it a more smooth appearance. Don't want it looking too streaky. Why? This fish looks a little different from that one, but that's okay. They don't have to be identical. Alright. So, not too bad. Alright, so what we're going to do now, we didn't color in here. So this is where the warm gray goes. This is 70% warm gray, and I just put it in here. And it's really just to give it a different feel, like a different texture really. I don't want it looking too monotone. And going now with 20% cool gray, because this is where it's supposed to be a highlighted area, right? And then just to blend in this color. Alright, I'm just kind of gonna go over here. So alright, so what I sometimes do now is go in with this just to add a little highlight here. Even though I don't know why that red is there, but such is life. Alright, how the fish looking? Not looking as dark as this one, but that's okay, it's still looking good. Alright, I don't have to be exact. Probably this one getting a little bit more light. Let me get this just to give it a little more. Alright, so we're basically finished with this. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add the blood to make the fish look like a zombie fish. Okay guys, now for this part of the fish, I'm gonna use Crimson Lake, and I'm also gonna use black, wrong black, geez, the American, I need to get rid of you, you're in the way. And then we're gonna use this black to create some depth. just take these, remove them. Oh, and let me sharpen this, get it a little sharper for the smaller, for the finer details. Hold on, it's not as sharp as I'd like it. Alright, so we're gonna go here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna finish the similar areas off camera, and I'll come back when I've completed coloring them, and then I'm gonna show you what I do with the black colored pencil. Okay, so I'm back and I've colored all the areas that I'm gonna color red, and now I'm ready to add depth. So I'm gonna do that now with our black Prismacolor pencil. So normally what I do, I just go to the corners and just add the black very lightly, so we can get a three-dimensional feel. Right, you can even put it here. Anywhere you feel like putting it, you can put it. But I just try and do the corners. Right. So do that, and then definitely that. But then here, right, and then put it here, right, and alright. So we want to blend it in now, but don't want it looking so sharp. To blend it in, we'll go back using the same Crimson Lake, right? Crimson Lake. We'll go over the black so that is not as intense, and that there is some sort of blending. We've already gone over. Alright, if we gone over, it is okay. We can easily correct that. Okay. Do the same thing here. Alright, let me just fix here. Alright, so I'm just fixing. It's here. Right. I'm just going with the eraser and just try and clean it up. Where else did I make a mess? Right here. So I can't leave like that, it's like a highlight. I can't leave like that, it's like a highlight. Let's leave it and then try and fix it. Alright, now how I did the eye. So what I did to do the eye, start with the 50% gray. I'm gonna do it black. I just don't want the black to be too intense, so I'll put on a layer of a lighter color first, and then I put the black over it so the black isn't as intense. See that? You can put a little hard on it, so that there is full coverage and you're not seeing all that white underneath. Alright. And then there's a little piece of bone. I think it's a piece of bone. That's what I call it. And I'm gonna use This is yellow ochre. Oh, so I can use a yellow ochre for the outskirts of the eye. That's yellow ochre, right? Kind of. Oh, it's like something. And then now I have the golden rod that I use for the bone. Alright, so this little piece here is the bone. See that? Alright, good. So let us now do the gum. So I'm gonna do the gum. And usually I start with pink. You see that? Alright, so we start with pink. Be careful, ensure that the point is sharp so that you can maneuver the areas that require detail. Boy, this zombie fish quite holy power. Alright. So anywhere I see lines, like where I'm coloring now, I usually think that it needs some sort of shading. So I'm gonna put mulberry there, so it's not one flat color. Alright, so this is mulberry. I'm just gonna put it here at the top. Okay. And then since it's a corner of the mouth, I want this to get a little darker. So I'm just going to color this a little darker. And then we'll come up with it. Alright. Alright, so now the next thing we're gonna do is the interior of the mouth. So we're gonna go back for the pink, and we're gonna color the interior of the mouth pink. Right. And then we're gonna use dark purple now. So where is the dark purple? Alright, so we're gonna use dark purple, alright, to shade in here. Alright. And we can also shade here, just to make it a little darker, because it's inside the mouth, the corner. Alright. Let's do some shading here. Do the same here. And of course, you know, I'm going to create more depth with my black pencil. So I'm gonna go for a black pencil and just try and create a bit more depth. So the black one, I put the black. Alright, so this is a black. And remember, when I'm gonna go in heavy-handed, I'm just putting a little shadow here. Here under the gum. you go. Kind of right here so back if you want. Out of mercy. Where's my eraser? I made a big boo-boo right here, so I'm just see if I can correct it. Not bad. Alright, so let's take your time. Take your time and just go ahead and just create. Alright, fine. And we're gonna go back for our dark purple. That's not dark purple. Where's our dark purple? Alright, so I'm gonna go back for the dark purple. I'm going to do a little blending. Blend it all in. I use purple here so that the interior of the mouth does not look like the comb. So you can actually differentiate between the two. Alright. And if you want, you can go back for the mulberry and just add a bit more color if you feel that's necessary. Ooh. Alright, now the teeth. Let me look at the teeth. So I use golden rod for the teeth. Made up. Oh, let me see if I can fix this to make sure this eraser is clean before I go in and try to erase this. Alright. They do such a good job of it, but anyway. I'm just going to do this. Yes, so that is my zombie fish. Look how wild it is. We made it, right? We made it. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you found this video helpful and it will help you to create your own zombie fish.